Hello Bookish Beauties, it's Wednesday, and I have another Top 5 Wednesday video for you today. These are the top 5 books I would want to see as TV shows, not movies. This is a little bit of an unusual one, I think, because I always just assume, hey, this is a great book, I want it to be a movie. I can't say that I've ever read a book and thought, this would make an awesome TV show. There are some books that are being turned into TV shows, like the whole Shadowhunter TV show that's coming out soon. I'm really excited for that. Outlander, if I would have thought about it, I probably would have said it'd be a better TV show because those books are so long, there's no way you could do it as a movie. You'd have to have like 3 movies per book or something to really fit everything in there. So, by making it a TV show, we get, I don't know how many episodes there are, like 13 maybe? That's like, well, they're not an hour, they're like 45 minutes, I don't know, that's like, what, like 11 something hours per one book, which is awesome. And they're really able to keep a lot of the story in there. If they try to do a 2-hour movie or even like a 3-hour movie, they would have to cut out so much, it would just ruin it. So there are a few books that I thought of that maybe fell into a similar type of thing, but I picked them all for different reasons. So, number 5, 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. This one would have to be one of those like only one series long type of shows, like a mini-series or something like they did with Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. I think that was only 8 episodes or something. That's a great example too, because there was like something like 6 to 8 hours for a really long book that they never would have been able to do well in 2 hours. 13 Reasons Why is broken up into 13 different sections for the reasons, and I just thought, you know, 13 is a really popular number for seasons for some reason. They seem to either be like 13 or 22 is like kind of the next point if it's a longer season. I don't know what determines that. I'm sure ratings, money, blah blah blah. But anyway, I thought for this book, because it is so kind of broken up into these sections, each sort of chapter for a side of the tape could make one episode, and it was sort of like a complete and whole story almost in itself. Sort of like little short stories that all kind of go together in one, but I mean, in this case, it's definitely a novel. They couldn't really be standalone short stories and make sense, but in the course of a TV show, it would totally work. 4. Big Little Lies. This one is sort of the same thing as 13 Reasons Why. It's a mystery book, but because there's so much tension and you don't know what the mystery is, who the victim is, you don't really know anything about the crime, except that they're leading up to it, there's all these little incidents that happen along the way, and I just thought each little incident would make a really awesome TV show that would just sort of build up. Again, I don't know that this could go beyond like a season, maybe 2 if they stretched it out. But the characters are so awesome, they maybe could continue it after the book ended and see what the characters do next. That would be cool. 3. Darkest Part of the Forest. Now, this one, I do think that the actual novel itself would work great as broken up into TV shows, but I think that this is such a strong world and the characters are so strong and interesting. This could be an entire series all on its own. It could maybe be something where like the first season is book 1 and then they just continue after that. I'm really surprised that Holly Black didn't decide to make this a series. It seems to be a thing that she does. Like a lot of her books are series, so I'm surprised that this one isn't. Maybe she'll get back to it later. I don't know. There's just a lot there. You could really do a lot with the town and the characters and all of the different sort of like myths that were sort of hinted at and all of the different worlds and the fairies, and there's just so much there that a screenwriter would have a blast with that world. 2. The Stephanie Plum series. So I think there is actually a Dresden show based on the Dresden Files, because I sort of thought the same thing about that series that I thought about the Stephanie Plum series. And there is a Stephanie Plum movie based on the first book, which really, unfortunately, did not do well. This is one of those series that I think gets a lot stronger as it goes. It's up to, I think, book like 20 or 21, and because they come out one a year. Janet Evanovich has literally been writing this series for 20 years, and she's grown so much as a writer, and the books toward the end like of the series are really, they are so funny and so interesting and crazy. Some of those elements weren't there in the beginning. The first book is actually pretty dark. The movie kind of skirted over some of those really like creepy, gory scenes. But the newer books are just, they're so fun, and Stephanie is really fun. Well, She's not a detective, but they feel like mystery books. They kind of come off like cozy mysteries almost. She's actually a bounty hunter. So her job every book is to go after her list of names and bring them down. And she's got this great sidekick. And there's crazy grandma and this family and these two men, and it's a great world, and they could definitely very easily make this a series because it's already a really long series in paperback. It's not really one of those series that necessarily would even have to follow the books because it's so much just about the character of Stephanie and her adventures that it almost really doesn't matter in each book who she's going after. I mean, yeah, that is the plot line, and it does create, like, the suspense and the tension for that book. But if it were a TV show, those particular characters probably wouldn't matter that much. There are a few that come in that sort of stick around. Those I would like to see in there. But just generally, as a series, it would be super easy for a screenwriter to make this really fun and interesting series. And my number one pick, Beauty Queens by Libba Bray. This comes partly from Lost, because it is a very Lost type, sort of like Lost meets Lord of the Flies meets Clueless. It's kind of what Beauty Queens is. A plane of beauty queens on the way to their pageant goes down on this remote island. And if that premise alone doesn't hook you, let me just tell you, it is everything you imagine it could be, and then more. So, because shows like Lost are so popular, and even Arrow, which I just mentioned, I recently started watching and really fallen in love with, even though he is off his island. He spent 5 years on his island, and there's a lot of flashbacks to that time. But the whole, like, Lost on a remote desert island somewhere is a popular trope, and it's a theme that recurs in literature, and people really seem to like it. So I think that this would actually make a really great TV show. The characters are just crazy. They're so different and so unique. It's actually one of the things I love most about Libba Bray as an author. She writes these wildly, vividly unique characters that have such a strong voice. I wish I could write like her and write characters like her because they're amazing. So based on that alone, it would make a great TV show. You really do need strong characters to carry a show because that's what people fall in love with. Just like in a book, but with a TV show, it has to kind of continue, and that person who's watching the show needs to want to come back week after week after week, or it just doesn't work. So I think those are some really great examples. Somebody call up Hollywood and let them know. I'm sure there's going to be lots of other great examples in other videos. I can't wait to check them out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.